What's up, jobbers, and welcome to the latest edition of the Jobber Knocker podcast. As always, Nestlemania alongside for the ride is not JC. We have a very suitable replacement here, as though JC is probably getting drunk in Las Vegas. TJ, our NXT, our merch guy, the predictions dude, does it all for the Knocker. TJ, welcome back on the program.
Well, thank you for having me. It's a nice break to not have to do NXT this week. So thank you.
Yeah, no problem. You getting the call.
Yeah,
So,
I wish I was getting drunk in Vegas like JC, but I'll take it.
absolutely. Well, you probably wish you were drunk when you're talking to me, so it's okay.
Well, I got a beer, so I'm good. I'm ready.
There you go. Just don't get shirtless. We'll be fine.
No.
We have Aaron. What up, Aaron? It's been a while. Yeah, we're happy to have you back, man. Hope all is good as well. So we're ready to go. Oh, look, Joe Stopper, my arch nemesis. Not happy. Not happy to start off the program. The Joe Stopper. We've got a lot to talk about here. We've got, of course, at the end of the night, we'll talk about Forbidden Door, which is a cockamamie idea in general, in my opinion. But we will go through it painstakingly, I'm sure. But TJ, we always start in the shine. I'm going to let you go off. You are the guest here. What did you love about this week?
I'm going to go right off the bat, and I'm going to start out hard, was the Bo Dallas interview. That was, I got text because I didn't watch live. I pulled a Nestle and didn't watch live this week. And I got multiple texts. Got a text from my brother, got a text from my buddy that asked my thoughts. I'm like, honestly, I haven't watched it. So they hyped it up a lot for me, but it really, people told me it was going to tug on my heartstrings, and it certainly did.
Yeah, I agree. I was going to put it either in the hope here tonight to talk about it, but it's definitely very shine worthy. It's funny. I'm curious your thoughts because, you heard these things about the Wyatt Six. As a fan, did you have to taper your expectations? Like what was going through your mind once you saw it? And then once this thing showed up, did it exceed what you thought going forward?
It's still piquing my interest. At first I was, I rolled my eyes a little bit at the idea of it because I'm like, oh, they're just, taking advantage of, someone who passed away, which WWE has done in the past. But I think they're doing a good homage to him right now, and I think it's gonna be really good. And I think Bo Dallas is really gonna run with it. He's showing a side of him that we didn't see with Bo Leave, which is, excellent to see.
Yeah, look, I loved the idea of, Chad Gable showing up, get the cameras off me kind of stuff. I thought that was wonderful. There's an Alexa Bliss as, the Alexa Bliss playground demon-ish thing that she was with the Fiend there. That probably was not by accident, I would think. I'm still crossing my fingers that she's the sixth member. I know you can go back and forth saying Bray is really the sixth member and all that nonsense, but I love that whole thing. Of course, Gable with the huge big W. I was floored that he beat the man meat sandwich.
That was awesome. That was a great match too.
That was great. And then, of course, Nikki with the smoke and the crawling and the just the grossness of feeling like you're in the ring. And of course, she hands the box to Michael Cole, which again, beautifully done. Pat McAfee unfortunately had a family emergency, so it was Cole by himself after Miz had to leave. Everything seemed to work in domino effect, so I love that. And then the VHS, which I thought was a nice touch because of everything they've been doing. And then it said "Play Me," and then they found a way to play it. And I was watching it, and I was just thinking to myself, the more you watch it, the more Easter eggs and things you find. Of course, if you look very closely in the background, they're inside the Firefly Funhouse in the distance, which I thought was very interesting. And then, of course, they hit the line of, how did you feel about your, losing your brother? And it's like, oof,
that one hit hard. I was like, wow, they jumped right into it.
Yeah. And then, of course, like you said, they're trying to make money off of Bray Wyatt here, and they approached it and they addressed it. And I thought that was very forward of them to do it, because how do you, it is a lot of tongue in cheek here with a lot of things they're doing, and there is an homage because it's Bray, but now I feel like, okay, we've gotten that explanation out of the way. It's not just us milking the Bray Wyatt cow because he's gone. This is a real thing. His response was very real. It was like, I wanted to do this my entire life with my brother, and I finally got the chance. It got taken away from me, so I'm going to do whatever I can for my legacy as well as his. And I thought, I think that's probably the best answer you could possibly have in that situation.
Yeah, they tackled it really well, and I think it kind of, like I said, it took my fears away of the whole thing. So I'm really excited to see where it goes. But like you said last week, like it's gonna be weird if they start wrestling. Like that is gonna be odd. I will admit that. At first, I was like, Nestle, you're crazy. Like they have to wrestle. It's wrestling. But like the more and more I think about it, like it's gonna be really interesting once if they do hit the ring.
I think the hardest part for me is I know all five of them are accomplished wrestlers. We know they can actually wrestle, but I don't think, at least for me, like I love Joe Gacy. I think out of the bunch, Joe Gacy would be the one I'd want to see wrestle. But the others, I think I'm sitting there going, I don't want to see you wrestle. I know what you can do, but it's not overly exciting. Um, Danny brings up a good point here. I'm curious your thoughts on it. Danny said, could Alexa be the leader of the faction, directing the group from afar?
Could be. I know. I have friends. She lives down here, so I have friends that know Alexa, and they just said she's not ready to come back yet. So there could be a little tease, like she could be running it from afar. So
That's very, very interesting to me because I think, and it has no bearing on Bo Dallas. It's just the rest of the people in this group are kind of like, role players. I haven't really seen someone that's, we can say Judgment Day, oh, there's no leader, and clearly there were leaders, but this doesn't feel like anything but Uncle Howdy is the leader. But I don't know if Bo Dallas, I mean, he certainly did a fantastic job in this promo, but I have so many questions in my head. Like, can he do this? Can he wrestle to a point where, like, I don't know. Like, I feel like we're going to have to see how this unfolds before we kind of like shoot ourselves in the foot here in terms of, at least for me, I'm trying to be kind of tapering my expectations because I'm excited after that promo. But I'm curious, like, did you get the sense that it was less supernatural and more like a person with a dual, like, personality?
it definitely jumped as a person with a dual personality. So we'll
Okay.
see with that. But I mean, what you just said makes a lot of sense because I mean, looking back at it, when Bray Wyatt first started, I was like, no, there's no way Husky Harris can be like this. So I mean, it could be the same thing with Bo Dallas. We look at Bo Dallas in a whole different eye, and now he's something completely different. So we could see what happens.
Danny says, with TJ having Alexa connections, how do we know TJ isn't the leader of the Wyatts?
My beard's not long enough to be the leader of the Wyatts.
Oh my god. So Joe says Alexa brought down Bray, so she should be the leader of the group. I don't know if I buy that at all because I think you love being like they always tell you in your brain, love and hate is very close in your brain. So I tend to think that there's a lot of love there still from Alexa Bliss. So I would think that apparently so Joe's wife took a look at TJ and said you guys could be related. I don't believe that at all. I mean,
No,
he has a brother who is very much, they look very similar,
I
but
was saying me and my brother are like twins. So
yeah, so I throw a red flag on the field for that one. So before we move on, I wanted to say this very quickly before we get into it, the rest of the show. When I watched this TJ, it made me feel like I was watching way back when JR was interviewing Mankind in the studio, and it began that whole process of us connecting with Mankind and not being just this like deranged person who like wheezes and yells and puts the mandible claw on people. It was this long, like 3 or 4 part interview that spanned a couple of weeks where you got to know who Mick Foley was and he wanted to be Dude Love and wanted to be Shawn Michaels and all this shit. And that was really a turning point for Mick Foley. And I kind of felt a little bit different about it, but it made me feel like, well, I know Bo Dallas was a comedy act, but this made me feel like I think I'm watching Taylor instead of Bo Dallas here, and I'm really starting to enjoy it.
yeah, it was. I know exactly what you're talking about because I thought about it very similar. Like it felt like a very old interview, and it connected to me. And I think we're gonna see a different side of Bo Dallas. Don't worry.
Yeah. The other thing I wanted to bring up too, which wasn't my original thought, but it got my wheel spinning, was if you think about all the lead ups to these things, there was that therapist that was interviewing, we think Uncle Howdy essentially, right? And somebody said, what if Uncle Howdy like abducted that person to learn how to like psychologically get into somebody and interview them and like basically do whatever they want to do to them. So if they use that mentality and have Uncle Howdy interview all 5 of these people, like, would that be a good thing? I don't know. I'd rather see each individual in their mask interviewing each other personally, but I don't know. You could go either way on it. Maybe it's too much because there's 6 of them. I don't know.
Yeah, that might be a little too much, Nestle. I think you're going a little crazy here.
I just think there's a lot on the. I think the problem here's what I'm thinking. Right, you need to reintroduce these people. You do. And so how do you reintroduce the others? People don't even know who Joe Gacy is if they don't watch NXT. So they probably forget about Eric Rowan because he's been gone for what, 5 years? So
yeah, it's been something like that.
So I mean, like, Nikki Cross is, great. Dexter Lumis is kind of available to people to remember, but I think they need to reintroduce them. And I think maybe these interviews will do it. I don't know. Maybe they'll be on social. So maybe that way you won't have to sit through it every week. But
yeah, I can see the Wyatt 6 on their Twitter phones, It really, really part of their character, Nestle.
The gimmick. What is this? I don't need a Dexter therapy session, says the Joe Stopper. Well, it is what it is. He's not going to talk much anyway, so maybe that'll help us in this situation. All right. Anyway, anything else before we move on? Anything?
No, I think that was good. It was a good way to start the show.
Okay. What else did you like this week?
The first thing I put on my shine was Chelsea Green stealing the match because I thought, like, the whole time I was like, this is great. Like, she's in there. You look at it and you're like, okay, Bianca's gonna win, and then no, she got the roll up victory, and I was like, yes, like, bravo! It was a great finish, and she's gonna win Money in the Bank. I swear.
I will put it in the predictions right now. Chelsea Green's gonna win it, and then somehow either A, she's gonna lose it because, like you said, they keep pointing out that the women's are 100%. Or B, she's gonna somehow fluky win the championship, and it's gonna be amazing. Because she showed, like, the other thing she did was she showed how great of a wrestler she is, and they kept commenting on it on commentary that she's a great wrestler and she's showing a different side of herself. So it really jumped out as me as shine for the week. I couldn't agree more. When she did, so everybody falls asleep on Friday night. I'm watching late, and I saw that, and I had to like hold my mouth, and I was like fist bumping. I was like, "Fuck yes!" Like I was so excited for her because she's great. She's to me, she's one of the best women's characters they have going right now. She knows she can lose. That's fine. It doesn't matter. I don't know if she's gonna win. I feel like Lyra is like the logical choice, but my heart wants to jump out of my chest and scream if she wins because it's gonna be like just so much fun. She said cha-ching Chelsea, and it's because Chelsea in the Bank doesn't sound anything, but she did say, as Joe says here, she wants to bring back the Divas title, which I think would be hysterical.
That would be pretty funny.
I don't think it's a good idea for her, but man, I just and then Danny says if Chelsea wins, she'd be the greatest Money in the Bank winner ever. Yeesh. Oh no, sorry. Would it be the greatest ever Money in the Bank winner? Oh yeah, I guess I did not read that wrong. Okay, yeah. I mean, I don't know about best ever. I remember I got excited when The Miz won for the first time, but
I was The Miz when RVD won was a great one. When CM Punk won his first one was a great one.
There's a lot of good ones. So yeah, I don't know. That's gonna be. I think to me, I don't look at it as who wins the Money in the Bank. I think of the cash-ins being the best.
Yeah, like absolutely. That moment when you first hear their music and they run down with the referee, and you're like, "This is actually happening."
Yeah, I mean, Ziggler's is still pretty. I mean, it doesn't matter what he does. That's probably top 3, no matter what you do. So. Oh, we're getting hacked. Not by the Wyatt 6. Here we go.
No. Here he comes.
Oh, geez.
There he is. He's got a shirt on.
You learned from last year.
And he appears. I am JC. Can you guys see me? Because I can't see you.
Yeah,
we see you.
Yeah.
There you go. Now you're vertical.
It's fine. It says Vegas JC, by the way. You're not hammered right now? Yeah, you're hammered. All right.
He's hammered.
I gotta move all this stuff so I can see everything here. I gotta take this off.
Can you see the backdrop? Got a pretty backdrop here. Some of the strip.
You're out of your mind. You're out of your damn mind, sir.
Hey, it was perfect timing for the podcast. Just got back from the pool, showered up. We're headed to the Spear in a bit.
What are you seeing at the Spear?
Just like their generic, like, around the world show.
Oh, okay. So not like Bruno Mars or anything. Okay.
I mean, I wish. Come on.
Well, TJ is doing a very serviceable job. He's having a lot of fun. We just discussed the Wyatt 6, Bo Dallas stuff. We just talked about Chelsea's big win on SmackDown. We're very excited about as well. So we're right in the shine here. Is there anything before we kick you out of here that you'd like to say? Because you are on vacation. You don't have to be here.
I mean, hey, I just wanted to say, hey, I don't want to derail the show too bad, but I did watch some clips this morning from Raw, and I will say, I know you just talked about the Wyatt 6. That Bo Dallas interview was cool. So I know last week I was kind of like, on this stuff, but I think it's a step in the right direction, baby.
All right.
Yeah.
says Joe Henry at the spear, says the Joe. So, all right. Well,
All right,
yeah,
fellas. Best of luck. I look forward to listening to it, but I just thought I'd come in and say hey.
I appreciate it. You enjoy the rest of your vacation. Get trashed and enjoy.
Enjoy
I
Vegas,
will.
JC.
Cheers,
All
my
right.
friends.
See ya.
See ya.
And there he is. Say his name and he
His
appears.
name disappears. I love that.
I was just hoping it wasn't shirtless like last year. That was probably top 3 moments all time. But and yelling at the
I
kid.
don't watch on YouTube. I listen. So I listened to him shirtless last year. So
Oh man, you can't hear him when he's shirtless. So shit. What were we doing? Sorry, before that.
we just finished talking about Chelsea Green.
Okay. I am curious because to me, I really thought this was like a huge moment here, and our boy Dom wanted us to expand upon this here. The CM Punk in Chicago on Friday on SmackDown had a long promo here. The crowd loved him. Said he didn't embarrass Chicago. Heyman comes out, pleaded with him, please take me with you. The bloodline said it was the bootleg bloodline. I don't see a bloodline. Of course, Cody comes out, evens the odds with the bats. But to me, this isn't really the huge story here. Of course, we can talk about the Mac having his revenge and taking the bracelet. I'm curious about your overall thoughts between the promo with Heyman as well as the Mac stuff. What would you think about this?
The promo with Heyman was interesting because before Heyman came out, he was definitely cutting a heel promo. Like 100% CM Punk was cutting a heel promo. And then Heyman came out and it made it a little more interesting and added some, flavor to it. And then, they started talking about like the bloodline light and what was going on there. Then the save happened, was fine. But when he got attacked, of course, Johnny Gargano was on the screen. So I was paying attention to that. And then you hear the bang, 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 and they raise the thing. And I knew what happened because I saw it on Twitter. But if I was watching that live, I would have loved life. Like Drew McIntyre is on another level right now.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I thought it was very cinematic. It was great. It was interesting that he quit the Monday before. Then clearly he didn't because he's got a vendetta against CM Punk. It was nice to see CM Punk get shit on in Chicago a little bit there because of what he did in Scotland to Drew. Honestly, I don't ever want to see these guys touch. I just want to see this continue for as long as humanly possible without a match. I know it's never going to live up to my expectation of the match because now they have gone from it seems like November till now without touching, really, with the exception of the Rumble and maybe a little bit of WrestleMania. But it's fascinating to me. It's absolutely fascinating. But I do want to backtrack just 1 second with that Heyman thing because there was a point in there where they had this really quick discussion with Solo or so, I think it was Heyman basically saying like CM Punk's important to me. So Roman Reigns knew that CM Punk was off limits, which I thought was really telling because we know that's probably going to flip at some point because Roman Reigns will come back and they stupid not to have Punk versus Roman at some point, you would think. Yeah, but then it's like Heyman in the middle, right? Like I think that'd be very interesting to me.
I was saying I saw the gif of the Heyman, the custody of Paul Heyman ladder match between the two of them. That was funny.
Yeah. I don't know. So Danny says when Roman comes back to take on Solo in the bloodline, he needs help. Luther Reigns comes on down. What a name, Luther Reigns. Forgot about his fucking horseshoe head. That was what he had, right? Like the fucking weird horseshoe haircut.
Yeah, he had a weird head.
Yeah, that guy was fucking weird looking. But I am curious. There are rumblings. We don't talk about the dirties here on the program. It seems like Solo's lined up here to take on Rhodes for the undisputed WWE Championship at SummerSlam. Seems kind of meh to me.
Yeah, I mean, but there's bigger main events like going on. I mean, Drew and CM Punk are going to be top that show. I mean, like you said, it's been the biggest storyline so far for a while. So, I mean, that's a big draw. But I agree that's kind of a main event for the title.
I don't know what's going to happen here. It's interesting to me because the one thing we didn't talk about, which I assume is the next, thing here besides the CM Punk thing, would be the ending of SmackDown, which I thought was ridiculous. But before we get that, I just want to say one more thing about CM Punk. Do you think at some point CM Punk will align himself with the old bloodline to take out the new bloodline, or is that just kind of like weird?
I think that's weird. I think we're going to stick bloodline versus bloodline or old bloodline versus new bloodline. I don't think they're going to get any intermesh. I think you might have some instigators, but I think there's going to be a civil war of its own because I don't think anyone's going to want to be a part of that.
So it's they have 4 on the new bloodline sign. Do do you count Sammy as the fourth guy? Does Zilla come in? Zilla Fatu? Like, what do you?
I mean, they might look to Sammy. Like, it could be one of those things where it's 3 against 4, and he surprises you and comes back. Like, that could happen. I could see it happening.
Because I just don't see how. There's no other hard unless The Rock. It's like, to me, it's Sammy or The Rock.
Yeah,
that's it. And like, if The Rock comes back, he's just going to eat everybody. So
logistically, it just doesn't make sense because the bloodline wrongs so many people. So why would anyone want to come and help them? Like,
that's fair. That's fair. That's a good point. I mean, I'm not necessarily sure, but I think you're right about like, and then JC said it this last week, when all of them come together, that moment is going to be like out of this world. And for Roman Reigns to be a babyface after all this shit, after years of being shoved down our throat and us just saying, fuck you, and then becoming probably the best heel in the last 15, 20 years, to be reversed into a babyface again is just like mind-boggling to me.
Yeah, the "We Want Roman" chants got me. I was like, wow. I was like, I haven't heard that in forever. If ever.
Yeah, I don't think no one's ever really wanted Roman until now. So they did sign the other Tongan, supposedly, and he said may align with Roman here as the Joe Stopper. He's new to WWE. I look at him as a big goof, personally. I don't see like him being very much, involved because he's kind of goofy and probably will trip over his feet here.
Yeah.
But, when you're with the Bloodline 1.0 or the original Bloodline, the OG Bloodline, if this is what we're going to do, I don't know. Once Friday night ended, I was ready to fucking jump up and down because Jacob Fatu, I've been screaming his name from the rooftops for a while. I've watched him in MLW and other things. That dude is a stud, and I didn't know how he was going to be injected into this thing, but once I saw it on Friday night, TJ, I cannot tell you, I was ready to fucking shake the walls in this bedroom. I was so excited.
Yeah, I saw it when I saw it on Twitter that he finally debuted. And again, like my buddy Aaron texted me, he's like, Jacob Fatu just fucked everything up. I'm like, what? Like, because I was stuck at work Friday, and I'm like, no way, this isn't happening. And so I finally saw it happen. I was like, same thing. Like, I've seen him wrestle in MLW and like thought he was amazing. So it was great to see him finally in WWE.
Do you think that the realization of him being there now, like he's better than Solo, he's better than all of them, so it's like we're not going to let him talk just to like muzzle him so Solo's the guy for a while?
I think so. I think Solo's gotten better too. Like I don't watch a lot of SmackDown, so I was very impressed with what he's been doing when I saw it this week. So
I hope to Christ that Solo gets a chance, because it's just not. He's doing a great job. I think if he wasn't just thrown in there as like the leader, then it's fine. I think he'd be doing a serviceable job. But the fact that you're trying to make it feel like he's the leader of the group, I feel like you're adding a microscope under him that is not necessary, because he should organically grow, and he doesn't have time to organically grow. He's being put in a high pressure situation here.
Well, he jumped immediately into that because he was in NXT, and then he got catapulted right into that Bloodline story. So he's been growing in front of our eyes. So we might as well just make him grow into a main event player in front of our eyes too while we're at it.
But do you think he could be a legitimate main event player?
I didn't think so in NXT, but I mean he's starting to turn me. So we'll see when he faces Cody.
Well, yeah. I mean, the problem is when I'm here with JC, it's like, oh, Cody this, Cody that, Cody this. So I'm curious, because you're probably a Cody guy, but not to the point where you're stuck to his jockstrap like JC. Do you think Cody Rhodes holds on to this thing for a while?
I thought he was gonna have a short reign. Like, I'm a Cody guy, so I'll stop you right there. But I thought he was gonna have a short reign just because he's a man of the business. So I was waiting for him to put someone else over by SummerSlam. So having this be the feud going into SummerSlam, it doesn't look like he's going to turn that title over anytime soon. So
here's the thing. I haven't said this out loud, I don't think a lot. I think, and this is just me, in order to take Solo seriously, I say let him beat Cody Rhodes. I know. I'm glad JC's not here because he would walk away.
JC would like crucify you.
But you might be more level-headed than that guy. So I was thinking about this, right? Like, it's just, what does this say? I need TJ to let out a nice Cody. Whoa.
I could get, one, I'd wake up my kids, but two, both of them whoa when I listen to the music. So
really?
I got a Cody house.
That's hilarious. Jacob Fatu did slim down, guys. He did. He also as Danny says, he goes, how the hell does he have time to wrestle? He's got 7 kids. I mean, that man was busy one way or another. He gets busy. He's gonna need. Joe says he'll need about 5 more IPAs to get the whoa. I here's the thing. I think this is what's gonna happen. I think at some point Solo has to win that world title. It would be interesting to see him beat Cody, because then Roman Reigns is gonna be pissed at him. I think you got to put the tag titles on the Tongans at some point. But DIY seems to be slotted for a while. They deserve their time. It's just I feel like you need to put something.
Did you say DIY needs their time? Like, did you just compliment Johnny Gargano again? Like, did that just happen?
It might be because you're here. I don't
know.
But it's hard for me, right? Like, because I'm sitting there thinking to myself, the SmackDown tag division is in shambles, in my opinion. But DIY seems to be the only, like, the logical choice in Cleveland at SummerSlam, right? Like, that seems logical to me for the big moment. But, and fuck you, Bertsky, I'm not clipping it. Give me a break. I'm not putting out in the world that I like Johnny Gargano. That's bad for the brand. But my thought is you got to put things on the Tongans and Solo to make, even if they're paper champions or whatever, but like, you got to have them feel like they're as important, because we all feel like they're not. They're not important. They're not even close to. They've gone out of their way with people calling them the bootleg bloodline. Like, how do you take them seriously after that?
You put a title on them. I think you got it right there. Like,
yeah, but even then, people will boo them. But I think it'll work. But imagine, like, that's the thing that people don't realize is Cody Rhodes worked because he had the babyface chase. We all wanted him to do it. I'm not saying he's doing a bad job. He's doing a fantastic job. But, like, when the babyface wins, you're kind of like, all right, who else do I have to cheer for now? Like, that's the story, right? So if he gets fucked over again, I'll be kind of like, go get it back, Cody. You know, like, I think I'd be interested in seeing him chase it again. So I don't know. It's interesting to me. I think Jacob Fatu, it's Jacob Fatu at SummerSlam, which they won't do. But if it was, I'd be fucking boned up for that.
That would be amazing.
They can't just give him the rocket that quickly, right?
Yeah.
Joe, what does it say? Joe doing the work out here. Don't give Joe fucking credit.
Joe's just trying to not sabotage. He's trying to invade the show.
This is Joe being butthurt that he had to wait in line for the next the guest host thing. So it's fine. It's fine. Anything else in your shine that we want to get to?
I mean, I thought match wise, the Shayna, Lyra, and Kyrie match was great because I mean, Shayna and Kyrie have so much chemistry. And adding Lyra Valkyria, I mean, those triple threat matches haven't been great. So that was one that kind of stole me, that I was like, that was a good match. I know I'll probably get shit on because everyone's like,
I thought all the triple threat matches were pretty good. There's something about Lyra. We're gonna have to have a Photoshop. There's something about Lyra instead of something about Mary. Because the minute I saw Shayna, I was like, well, she ain't fucking winning. Sorry, Guthrie. And then it was like, who was the other one? It was Kyrie, not Kyrie. It was like as much as I'd love to see an elbow off the top of the fucking ladder, I was like, that's not fucking happening because Io's in it.
Io's already in the match. So.
Yeah, so it's just like it was a foregone conclusion that Lyra, although didn't win anything after the Queen of the Ring thing, they're still positioning her to be kind of a big deal. And she's a good babyface. She's pretty good at what she does. It's gonna take me. This is where Danny's gonna shit all over me. It's gonna take some getting used to with the accent. Because that's a hard Irish accent.
Oh, Irish shamer.
I'm just saying it's hard. It's hard on the ears. I'm sure my fucking Boston accent and the fucking Harvard yad, that's hard on people's too. But like, it's just it's just different parts of the world. But she's great. She's phenomenal, and she's starting to win me over in her matches.
Don't wrestle curse her.
No, I'm not.
Don't do it.
She's not my girl. She's not my girl by any stretch. But I am enjoying her work. That's all. It is what it is. Bertsky says it feels like Kyrie's first entrance solo in a while with that new theme of hers. I didn't think it was bad. Well, I think
it was a little pirate remix. It wasn't too bad.
I just miss everything from the CFO. I think that was probably some of the greatest stuff they've had in a long time, with the exception of Jim Johnson. So whatever fucking cat garbage they got stuck in a disposal here, so the DIY song is the most atrocious thing I've heard in a while, because they had a banger.
Yeah, that one's a little rough. A little rough.
I'm glad that there's just so many things that just feels like it's like somebody got GarageBand for the first time and thinks they're doing a good job. Like that's what I feel like I'm listening to, which is why I just fast forward the entrances when I have to. So
Entrance shamer.
I am. Joe says no chafing on the posterior over here. TJ, maybe my arch nemesis, but it's based solely on tribalism. Okay.
We haven't been on the same nights of shows in like 3 years, man. Let it go.
I think he's just keeping up appearances here. Birdsky says I'm not complaining, Def Leppard, but it wasn't the worst. Listen,
Def Rebel,
whatever the fuck it is.
Not Def Leppard.
It's some fucking white guy that fucking has no idea what he's doing. You know what I mean? Like he's probably just mixing things with fucking. I got a real sick beat, pal. Like whatever. I just feel like DIY had something great. Other like Tiffany Stratton had a good one too, although she wanted it changed. I don't get that at all, but it's just there's so much going on. There's so many changes that I just feel like you notice it so quickly that you're just like, well, that doesn't sound like it. It's jarring. It's not even like soothing. Most of these things. So
it was weird at the Royal Rumble because we couldn't see the screen, so we didn't know who half the entrances were until they showed up on the screen. They're like, oh, that's who that was.
Right, because all these musical numbers sound similar. There's no like real like when you listen to Stone Cold, glass breaks, right? If you smell, you hear certain things like the Cody Rhodes dum dum, There's a lot of people here who just have generic, real, just like royalty-free music. And yeah. I think that's to me, it's stopping the connection for the mid-card people who need to get to that next level. The people who are worth the time have the music.
I mean, look at Braun Breaker's got a siren now, so we know who he is.
I thought Braun Breaker's fucking music was perfect in NXT. I fucking loved it. This new thing just sounds like, I feel like I'm waiting. It's like a song that I'm waiting for my video game to load. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. So it is what it is. Let's see. Birdsky saying, is Joe the Otis of the Knocker Academy? Free Joe? Oh, Jesus. Now I need to Photoshop Joe's head on that.
I was say, do I need to make a Free Joe shirt?
Yeah, Free Joe with him just like behind bars.
Behind the bars.
Danny CM Punk should have had glass shatters starting of his song. This is a tough night. No, he says
we're off the rails.
I'm more of a social outcast of the Knocker. That's true. That's a callback. Anything else? We're still I'm sorry. We're like 30 minutes into this thing. Do you have anything else that's shine worthy?
That was all I had for notes for the shine. So
okay,
we can jump into your segment.
Okay. Get him off my TV. Get him off my TV. Get him off my TV. Let's see what we can scrape up here that we haven't talked about. I'm sorry. I'm not excited for Blair Davenport to be anywhere on my television. And I feel like Bayley's getting the fucking shaft for someone that's so important to the legacy of the women's division. I feel like she's just an afterthought when I'm watching. So it's bizarre to me that she's just backstage with, doing whatever the fuck she's doing. I know you're a huge Bayley fan.
I am a huge Bayley fan. I enjoyed seeing her on my screen, but I agree. She's not doing anything. Like, it's just, she's watching TV.
Is she a bad baby face without the actual Bayley gimmick?
Yes. I don't think she has much to her character right now. So, I mean, I have to agree with that. I think she needs to be a hugger again and then come give me a hug.
Well, yeah, but I don't think you can control yourself. You'll probably be thrown out by security after that. But Bertsky says Blair is tough for sure. And again, it's not a shaming thing here, folks. It's just that she unfortunately just doesn't look like she's got much to offer in terms of everything. I'm sure she's good in the ring. I've seen her doing NXT UK. She's good, but I just, it is what it is. I'm just feeling like there's a generic feeling on SmackDown in the women's division in general, with the exception of, the Jades and the Belairs and maybe some others, but it's tough. It's tough. There is no character for Bayley, says Joe Stopper. I don't know about that, but honestly, I don't know if Damage Control really did any favors for Bayley.
No, it didn't really. I mean, I think it gave her a good, something to sink her teeth into and, help develop some new stars that we hadn't seen on the WWE TV and just on the NXT. But I don't think it, like you said, I don't think it did her any favors.
Let's move on to see what anything else I can find here. We got, we didn't talk about this. It's not necessarily bad. It's not necessarily good. Liv Morgan and the Judgment Day were kind of all over this entire show. It seems like it's the A storyline with the exception of Chad Gable and the Wyatt Six. I'm curious your thoughts. We'll talk about what happened at the end of the night later, but in terms of the dirty picture, supposedly the buying the PS5 and the video game, the guys think that was cool. And then the promo with Zelina Vega, all that stuff encompassing. What are your thoughts on this? Because I fucking hated some of it, but I thought she did. I think Liv Morgan's good in some aspects of it.
I think Liv Morgan's doing a great job. I thought it didn't really do anything for me. I was just like, okay, like this is fine. Like it's such like it, but it feels like a C storyline that is dominating the TV. Like that's what it was. And then Zelina kind of came out and saved it for a minute, and then I don't know. It made me want chicken nuggets. That's really all the segment made me do.
Listen, when I see the chicken nugget platter, I think this man is a fucking man-child. Pot meat kettle, I'm sure. There's a lot of jokes headed my way for that. But I have a vast array of, bland food at least. But chicken nuggets is just like, yeesh, but I think that Liv Morgan's doing the best she can. But I feel like the women's championship is an afterthought. And I think they tried very hard to get Zelina to kind of make that point. But I'm not saying Zelina. Well, no, fuck it. I'll say it. Zelina's a fucking tomato can.
Yeah,
she is. She's a tomato can. She's not somebody that I take as a credible threat. She's not going to be in Puerto Rico at Backlash again to give her that moment. So I feel like she's just a tomato can for her to beat. So there's to say, is Nestle really an anti-chicken nuggets guy? No, I go to Chick-fil-A. I go to, to Burger King and McDonald's. If my kids want fucking nuggets, they're getting fucking nuggies, man. That's it. I'm just saying, like, I think that man is a grown-ass man. He just got married. I bet at his fucking wedding, he had fucking chicken nuggets, and they're all looking at him like, what the fuck is wrong with you, Dom? That's all. I'm not anti-nugget. I'm not anti-nugget. No, this is how things get out of hand. Bertsky's going to fucking try to put me... You know those little nugget characters from McDonald's? I can see my face getting photoshopped on that shit too.
Send it my way and I'll make it a t-shirt.
No, we're not putting Nestle nuggets. We're not doing that. No, we're not doing any of that shit. We already got something about Lyra and Free Joe. We do not need an anti-nugget shirt at tpublic.com/jobberknocker. Go buy your tees and all your fucking merch there. TJ does a great job.
They have hats now too, by the way.
Hats. Yes, we've got hats. So you can, shaming, there we go. LOL. Shaming adults eating nuggets is crazy. I feel attacked. Well, do you house a bunch of chicken nuggets? Is that what you do? Jesus Christ. Come on. Is chicken nuggets the only, they literally said Dom is only eating chicken nuggets. That's all he eats on the road. So
yeah, that's what Rhea said too.
She said if they don't have chicken nuggets, they have to leave the restaurant. So it is what it is, folks. I'm just a little PO'd about the whole thing. But again, I feel like the championship could be on somebody else, but I get why she has it. But it feels like it's just not good. It part of it is, but I don't know if like is it Liv and Balor working together, or is it like is Dom really going to side with Rhea or Liv? There's a lot of questions to ask, which is good, but I'm curious what you think about it because I feel like Rhea's going to come back a babyface. You can't have Dom be a part of that, so why not just stick Liv and Dom together?
I think eventually it is going to be Liv and Dom, and Rhea's going to come back. But I think they're slowly picking away at the Judgment Day, sadly. So I've enjoyed the Judgment Day. I know you're not a fan, but I mean, even with the stipulation in the Priest match now that if he loses, he's going to leave the Judgment Day. And he even teased it. He's like, I don't need them. They need me more than I need them.
So I'm curious, you brought it up. That was another thing in my heat that I don't necessarily hate this, but there was so many contradictory statements in this Seth Rollins promo with Damian Priest. Now it's funny because Danny's going to chime in here in like 2 seconds. I know because he's a Seth Rollins guy, but he hates Damian Priest. So this is like fucking ridiculous. By the way, yes, Danny's saying if Nestle was a food, he would be a chicken nugget, plain, bland, and gets batted around every week. So, Danny, you know what, Danny? I would love to have Danny on this fucking podcast at because I feel like, with the exception of JC, you might beat up on me more than anybody else. So TJ's being at least,
I'm a gracious guest. I try not to beat up on you too much.
You can beat up on me. Go ahead. We're all just shitting on Nestle anyway, so it's fine. It's fine. When you're right and you're on an island, it's pretty lonely being on the top. So it is what it is. What the fuck were we talking about before I talked about
Priest and Seth?
So yeah, so there were so many. It's like I'm not shitting on you, Priest, but I'm shitting on you, and I just felt like this is such a convoluted thing But the only thing I got out of this entire thing was like, if Seth Rollins loses, he doesn't get another shot. If Priest loses, he's out of the Judgment Day. Cool. Like, but it took me fucking 20 minutes to get there. And then Gunther comes out, which I get, but that felt kind of forced. And like, remember, I'm going to be ready for SummerSlam. And as I'm sitting there thinking about this, I'm thinking in my head, I think Damian Priest is going to hold on to this thing because that seems like the swerve, bro. But do you think that they're looking at this perspective as like Priest versus Gunther isn't necessarily like the best idea here in terms of making money, and that they just like will give it to Seth because Seth versus Gunther will sell more tickets?
See, I was thinking the other way. I was thinking that they don't want to go heel versus heel, and they want to have Seth come back to feed him to Gunther.
Oof.
Eesh. But I mean, Seth's the man of the he's a company man. He'll come back and do that. So, because he'll make Gunther look better than I think Priest will make Gunther look.
Yeah, that's fair. But the thing is I feel like there's a lot of gray area here. Like sometimes Priest is a babyface, sometimes Priest is a heel. Sometimes Gunther sometimes have tendencies the way he talks. He gives a lot of respect out there. And then Seth Rollins is a babyface through and through right now because he looks like Cruella de Vil when he fucking walks out there.
Oh my God, that outfit was ridiculous. Even my daughter is like, it looks like 101 Dalmatians.
Right. And I'm sure like his daughter was like, Daddy, you look like a Dalmatian. It was ridiculous. And I mean, kudos to him to having the nutsack to wear that thing. But there's something about Seth Rollins that I'm just like, he doesn't need to be interjected into this because I feel like the foregone conclusion here is it doesn't really fucking matter. It's Gunther's title. Just let him have the fucking belt.
Yeah, I think you guys kind of tackled it last week, but when you were talking about how it was too soon for Seth, like immediately that was when my first thought was that they're bringing Seth back to feed him to Gunther, like just to make it a bigger match. Because Danny said it 100 times to you guys that Priest just isn't a good champion. Like,
I'm looking at SmackDown. Sorry, I'm looking at SummerSlam thinking to myself, if it's Solo and Cody and Priest and Gunther, sorry, doesn't get me excited.
Well, it's a good thing you don't pay $50 for it then.
I know, right? Jesus Christ. And it's on my fucking birthday this year, so I really want it to be good, but we'll see. I don't know. But I have zero expectations if those two matches are the fucking headliners, personally, for me. So maybe it has to be Gunther and Rollins because that's going to be the banger of bangers. I don't know. I don't know.
We'll see, right?
Moving on, let's move on to other nonsense that happens here. I think we've touched a lot of this shit already. Fire bitches versus party girls. It's a whole thing. I feel like the crowd didn't fucking give a shit about any of these women, which made me really upset because it was a decent match, but the Chance and Katana or whatever the hell they're called, was it? I'm gonna fuck this up again, isn't it?
Katana, Chance
and Carter.
Yeah, I fuck it up every time too.
Chance and Carter. We'll say that. They're great. They're great characters, but the fire bitches, I just feel like, again, tomato cans, right? Like we're not getting like serious contenders yet. We're just getting some fucking people under the belt. And it's hard sometimes to kind of get excited about this shit, but I don't know.
I don't know. It's better than a jobber match. Like sometimes having a good match to boost the division is a good thing, but I agree. It was the crowd just seemed dead in it. And then, we got the attack at the end from Damage Control, which I was like, great, Damage Control is here.
I think the hardest part for me is Damage Control has always been, no pun intended, damaged and terrible from the beginning. So like when she's like Damage Control has to change, I think to myself, just be by yourself. You're so much better by yourself. You don't need anybody else. These other women will be fine on their own. Maybe they won't have time on SmackDown. They'll have time on Raw, but like I don't know. I don't know. Also, you're scaring Danny saying that you're in the dark here. He's expecting the Wyatt Six to attack.
Listen,
you.
The sun set. I'm sorry. I'll go turn a light on.
It's going to be really fucking scary if he had like his wife or his kids ready with a mask when he comes back. I'd probably shit my pants, to be honest.
No.
Don't come back with a mask, please.
No, I don't have any masks. Don't worry.
I think that's pretty much it with the exception of, yeah, okay. We were talking about this earlier, but so Kofi Kingston loses the Karrion Kross with the help of AOP here.
You're going to go there, aren't you?
Well, he beat Seth. So here's the thing. This is where I'm going to catch heat from Gunther. Guthrie, excuse me.
You don't want to catch heat from Gunther.
Yeah, I might as well, right? Have him slap me too. He was like 7 world champions. If I can count, right? He beat 7 world champions, folks. And one of our friends, Chris from on Twitter, fucking gave me the list. And as I was sitting there, I was just like, yeah, that's a world champion. That's a world champion. But like, what the fuck are all these world champions doing? They all fucking lose all the time. Like Kofi loses all the time. Ray loses all the time. Like AJ Styles is just a fucking jobber that stars. Like, yeah, they are world champions. That's great. But like, at some point, does that even fucking matter? Because it doesn't seem like it does anything for Cross that he beat 7 world champions. They're not really
reminding me of Mr. Kennedy. Mr. Kennedy bragged about beating like 7 world champions, and what did he do? He did steroids and lost his money in the bank and never got his momentum back.
I just remember him getting interviewed at WrestleMania 24, I think it was.
Yeah.
And he was like drunk out of his mind and looked fucking miserable because he realized that was his fucking moment that he fucking pissed away. So I don't know. That is an interesting comparison that you make Mr. Kennedy to Karrion Kross. That is not something I would have thought of. So that's a good take there. I can tell you're not a Kross guy.
I was a Cross guy. Now he's just kind of meh. Like on NXT, he was presented so differently, and it was much better. But in WWE, he's just kind of meh is the word. Like I don't know if it's the hair. I don't know if it's what it is, but
it's the hair. It's the hair. You're right, TJ. You're absolutely right. It's the goddamn hair. He's too good looking. The bald head made him look like a fucking psychopath. That's what it was.
Well, he was bald in TNA too, and he was really great in TNA. So
it's the hair. The hair made him less intimidating. It made him less.
I'm glad you're saying bald men are intimidating. It makes me feel better about myself.
Well, that's fine. Listen, bald is beautiful. I'm not going to be a bald shamer. And again, Joe Stopper, it's the hair. I agree, folks. Look at me. Let's just side by side comparison. Do you think if TJ took his head off, you don't have to. You're bald, right? Almost bald, right? Just out of street cred alone, bald looks like a badass. You see this lettuce up top here, they're going to think I'm a fucking poussoir. You know what I mean? Like there's no way I'm fucking kicking anybody's ass, right?
Well, look at MMA. Nobody has hair.
Right.
Everybody's either bald or they shave their head.
Exactly. Fantastic point. In UFC or MMA, there's no lettuce like this. You know what I mean? I'm putting this up here because I don't think our boy the Backcracker's in here to make fun of my fucking,
Your Jody Forge look.
Yeah. I had a friend reach out to me and he said, "Are you ever going to have a whole podcast where you do this and cover your eyes?" And I was just like, first off, I'm sure everybody would love that, so I don't have to stare at my face. But secondly, I might just go and buy the whole fucking, Jordy LaForge fucking thing. I think I might go full tilt on this thing if you guys keep making fun of me. So I don't know. Interesting to me. I don't know. Anyway, enough about me. Let's get hopeful. You want to go first? You want me to get hopeful?
I can go. Let me pull up my hope. So we saw a lot of Chad Gable. Saw him, try and come back to the Alpha Academy, and they ditched him. And we saw the Creeds get a little teased. But Chad Gable won his match, and he got into Money in the Bank. So what my hope is that Chad Gable wins Money in the Bank, and then he finally will be the one to dethrone Gunther eventually. We all wanted him to do it last year. Like, we wanted him to dethrone him for the IC title. So maybe Chad Gable will dethrone Gunther for the world title.
Wow.
It's a hope.
You're out on a limb there. They're on a fucking real branch. You want to talk about a learning tree? You're fucking way out there.
It's long-term storytelling is what they call it, Nestle.
Yeah, well, I'm telling you right now, it's Jey Uso or bust. It seems like with the fucking people that are in this thing. So, just saying.
I don't know how I feel about that one. I'd yeet that one out the window, but.
So you're not it. So out of the 4 combatants that are in there in the Money in the Bank right now, you think Gable's the lead?
I think Gable is definitely. I mean,
it's not Andrade. Thanks for being there. It's not fucking Carmelo Hayes. I'm sorry. I love him to death.
I would love it to be Carmelo, but it's not going to be Carmelo.
No, it's Jey Uso or bust right now. The only thing that I had in my head, like I said last week, was that it felt like Sami Zayn loses to fucking Braun Breaker and then somehow gets into the mix of the Money in the Bank and wins in fucking Toronto and the fucking place just erupts.
That would be pretty cool. I would be with that, but I mean, it's either out of the 4 right now, Gable or Jey Uso make most sense.
I'm not gonna be happy if Jey Uso wins. I'll be honest. I really don't.
I also will not. So I'm on your side.
I think he's overrated. I mean, he's all sizzle, no steak, in my opinion. I mean, that's just how I feel. I think he's an entrance. That's it. He's a good promo, but he's not a good singles wrestler, in my opinion. But it is what it is.
Well, plus he's got bloodline stuff to take care of. He doesn't need a briefcase to be carrying around.
That's fair. I think that's wonderfully executed as well. Our boy Bertsky says Otis screws Gable, so Sammy wins it after Sammy was trying to get him to see the light of the original. Thank you. Nice thank you gift. I tend to agree. So if Otis does screw out Gable, I think that'd be great. I also think that with Gable being connected to the Wyatt Six, sort of kind of adjacent, it'd be interesting. This leads to my Sammy thing here. What if the Wyatt Six kind of fuck up Gable before the Money in the Bank thing, so he's not even in the fucking program, leaves it, question mark for the night of, and then Sammy can squeeze in, right there and win, I think. And then Gable can be upset that Sammy took his spot, fucking wins the thing, and then we continue this to a higher level where Sami Zayn wins the world title, right? Like, then his arch nemesis Gable, if he wins that way by finally beating Sami Zayn, that'd be fucking amazing.
That would be ironic because Sami Zayn got beat up by Brock Lesnar when Brock won Money in the Bank and took his spot. So it would be ironic if Sami took an injured person's spot.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. Good night, Joe Stopper. I know you're old fucking curmudgeon. Have a good one. It is what it is. My hope is very interesting. Also along the lines of the Money in the Bank here. My hope is that Nia Jax wins the women's championship at SummerSlam against Bayley. I know, groan collectively from all you horny bastards. But I want Tiffy Time to win the women's Money in the Bank and act as if they're best friends, and then have her immediately cash in on Nia, turning her babyface immediately, because I think she's got a great babyface kind of moveset. I think people are starting and ready to cheer for her anyway. The international crowd's already cheering for her. And I think that's just an interesting thing I didn't think of until I saw them kind of getting chummy there, with, Michin in the background on Friday. But yeah, I think I'm ready. Like, have Nia have her moment. And, it is what it is. By the way, say his name and he appears. Hey, Nestle, keep your goddamn name out of my mouth. Listen, I was just saying something about Geordie LaForge, so you should be lucky that you are tethered to that. So it is what it is. We get one Joe to leave, one Joe to come in. It's funny. It's just funny how this world works out.
Are they the same Joe and they just, pose at each other?
Say their name and anything Joe related just shows up. Yeah, I bet you Bertsky fucking texted you and said, "Where the fuck are you, you fucking asshole?" He's like, I'm playing video games or reading my fucking comics. So there you go.
Well, don't shame on comics and video games, man. We'll actually have some beef in a minute.
No, I'm not. Listen, if I had time, I would play video games and read comic books. I don't got fucking time for nothing. What does this say? Bert will be coming all the time. Jesus Christ. All right. On that note, we're going to move on because Bertsky has an untrollable problem that he cannot stop doing. So I'm going to assume that he's not talking about Nia Jax. He's talking about Tiffy Time on that, if that's what we're talking about. Although Bertsky's love of Nia Jax would be a lot funnier. I don't think you were talking about Nia Jax. I think Nia Jax is amazing, but I'm literally on an island for that as well. I think it's time for our comeback. Would you like to give your comeback?
So we heated on it earlier, but I'm going to call out the women's tag division because they actually got a spotlight this week. They got a match that was 2 segments long. It wasn't great, but it was a 2-segment match. And then they, had another tag team go and interfere. So the women's tag team got a little shine this week, even if it was in our heat, but
I couldn't help myself. I'm sorry. I just felt like those women deserve better. But you
deserve
right.
better. They did get a 2-segment match, so we should be a little happy for that one.
I'm sitting there thinking to yourself, do you think that Jade and Bianca will be getting their titles back? Because what the fuck are they going to do until WrestleMania?
I don't know. Like, part of me was thinking they're going to just throw that match at SummerSlam. But it seems rushed. It seems like it's not going to happen. But WrestleMania is where we want the match. So I don't know. We'll see. I guess I don't really care to see them as a tag team. But if they keep picking themselves up and supporting each other, I'm okay with that.
So what do you think about Jade Cargill? Do you think she's TV ready? Do you think she's main event ready? Where do you lie on this?
I don't think she's TV ready yet. I think they're doing a good job with her, kind of throwing her tomato cans and kind of having her have a couple matches here and there. But she's definitely not ready. She should have been on. She was too big for NXT. We'll say that. Her skill wasn't ready, but her shine was bigger than NXT. So.
So let's see. Danny says if they wait till Mania, Jade might be able to wrestle by then. Jesus Christ. He is a Jade shamer.
I mean,
Jesus.
Bianca's good, but I don't think Bianca can carry her in the match yet. Like, let them work it out and let them figure it out. But
I think the hardest part of this entire thing is that Bianca Belair cannot be a heel. Like in this particular, like she'd have to be the one fucking calling the match, and she'd have to be the one, moving this feud. The heel calls the moves, calls the whole fucking cadence of the match. So, but Jade's a heel. Like you look at her and you're just like, there's some tendency about it. She's better than everybody else, so she has to be the heel. And
yeah,
Belair's like Super Cena. There's no way you can not cheer her.
which stings because Bianca was a great heel in NXT. Like she was outstanding as a heel. So like to see her be Super Cena and be the babyface all the time kind of hurts.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. Danny says Bayley would be perfect for Jade, but just not for the title. I tend to agree with that, but I feel like Bayley's a good ring general in her matches, but I don't know if Jade has this feeling when I watch her. And again, this is just my 2 cents. And again, who am I? I'm a fucking mark. But I feel like when I watch her, I feel like she's thinking about the next thing instead of being in the moment. And that's where her slip ups come, or like she forgets to sell, or she forgets to take a moment because like in WWE, they do a great job of like pausing in between moves to get reactions, to slow it down a little bit. She came from AEW where it was just like go, 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 go. Fucking, she had squash match after squash match. She had a couple of great bangers towards the end, especially with Athena and Chris Statlander. But I don't know. It just is what it is. Hold on. I said, Nestle, you fucking shitting on chicken nuggets. Yes. Yes. You're like 100 minutes too late, you old man. So fuck you for being late. Secondly, chicken nuggets, I did not shit on them. You need context. Go back and fucking watch.
You shit on adults eating chicken nuggets.
I shit on adults only eating chicken nuggets. Dom Mysterio only eats chicken nuggets. That's it. Just saying, pot meat kettle. I'm sure I've got plenty of things to make fun of, but now TJ is gonna make a fucking nugget shirt. Nestle Nuggies. I know it. It's fine. It's fucking terrible. We got a lot to work on in the merch. It's fine. It is what it is. We had 3 t-shirt designs today.
Keep me busy, guys.
It is what it is. My comeback this week goes to JD McDonough and Finn Balor winning the tag titles. Thank God, from the Awesome Truth, who have been shitty fucking tag team champions, in my opinion. It is what it is. I love Miz. I love R-Truth, but they do not need those tag titles. I think they were given them as like a thank you for all their hard work over the years, and they definitely deserve the moment. I think they held on to those things too long. They didn't really have a lot of great matches. It was like a very forgettable whole thing. So the fact that Judgment Day have them again with the 2 Irishmen, I'm very excited because I think highly of, the in-ring work, at least of JD McDonough. And of course, Finn Balor, you can't hate Finn Balor. I mean, the man's like a complete, fucking just stud. I mean, there's nothing you can say about him that's negative. But hey, it is what it is. And of course, he says, hey, I'm down 20 pounds, LaForge. Probably because you cut out chicken nuggets. So it is what it is. Schwaggins got me chicken dino nuggies and stuffed animals. Okay, great. Good for you. Good for you. You fucking sleep with stuffed animals because nobody wants to be around you. You fucking assholes. What did I hear? Uh-huh. Okay, great. Now the rest part. We're going to the big old finish here, TJ. We've got to talk about Forbidden Door. We've got Raw, NXT, SmackDown, all that nonsense. I am zero prepared for any of this. Hopefully,
I was gonna say I am not prepared, so I did not fill JC's shoes very well.
That's fine. Let me as we talk about this very quickly. I think Raw next week has a couple of things that they were doing here. I think there's a huge banger next week in terms of the qualifying matches for the women's, which I believe has Ilya Dragunov, Sheamus, and Drew McIntyre.
Yes, that is right.
That to me feels like, holy goddamn, that is going to be like just fascinating to me. I mean, you must love this.
That's going to be a great match. And yeah, I mean, it's a wrestling fan's dream, but I'm interested to see what CM Punk does to interfere so that Drew McIntyre doesn't win, because that's bound to happen, even if it's just his music distracting him enough. Like,
I mean, I feel like it has to be Ilya Dragunov that wins this thing, right?
Yeah, no, it's got to be, because, I mean, Sheamus has done his thing. Like, Sheamus is eating the pin, unfortunately. Like, let's be real.
That bastard. We also have, let's see, Zoe Stark. Sorry, Guthrie, not happening. Dakota Kai and Ivy Nile. I feel like Dakota Kai seems like the logical choice here, TJ, but Talk me into something. I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, Ivy Nile could do some cool spots with a ladder. I mean, I'm sure she could pick up like 3 chicks with a ladder at one time. Like, should be the spot fest in there. But I think Dakota Kai's got it. I think you're right.
She's got a great scorpion kick. I just kind of want to see her do shit. You know what I mean? Like, let's have some fun. I feel like she's super underrated, and a lot of people don't give her her flowers. So Ivy Nile feels like she's not on every week, and Zoe Stark. I feel like, you know what? I'm gonna eat crow on this. I feel like there's a chance Zoe Stark could win this. There's a chance. There's a chance. She doesn't have to win the Money in the Bank. There's a chance.
They always need someone to take that crazy bump and
she's got a great springboard missile drop kick. That's like the one spot she could have in the match. I don't know. I'm trying to talk myself into other people. It seems like, I don't know. It is what it is. Moving on to other things here. We also have Dom Mysterio taking on Rey Mysterio. That'll be interesting there. And of course, the Women's World Championship as Liv defends against Zelina Vega. Not interested in either of those matches at this point because I feel like it's been a thing. Finally, on SmackDown, and the only thing we have is a bad Photoshop of Jacob Fatu on another person's fucking, I don't know, body here is the Bloodline Acknowledgement Ceremony. This seems like it's going to get interrupted with the KO, RKO, and Cody Rhodes nons. The 6-man tag thing screams fucking like, okay, well, Jacob Fatu can't leave the fucking United States because of his criminal background. So this like 6-man tag at Money in the Bank has to be fucking the Tongans and, Solo. I feel like Solo is going to win this match by pinning Cody Rhodes at Money in the Bank.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And then that gets you to Cody versus Solo.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not happy about it, but seems like a way to eat a pin here without too much fucking pomp and circumstance. So I don't know. It is what it is. And then I want to make sure I didn't miss anything. I think that's pretty much it.
Let's say NXT probably will announce in the next 20 minutes everything going on next week.
I know. It's like NXT is like a fucking they do so great on all of their fucking their social media stuff. It just feels like they just pump it out so quickly. And there's so many moments there that you have to kind of keep your eye on. I know you're Mr. NXT, so it is what it is. Finally, we've gotten to the roll of the eyes part of the program as we are talking AEW. I say that, kind of, jokingly, I guess AEW. Do you watch AEW?
When I get a chance, I usually work Wednesdays, so I miss a lot of it, and I work Saturday night, so I definitely miss Collision. But when I get a chance, I watch it. I mean, when I was in Boston, I went and saw it live, so I enjoy it when I can watch it.
And was it dog shit live? I'm just curious.
Oh, it was awful. Like that, they opened the show with Sasha Banks debuting, and then after that, it just went downhill from there. Like we left, we didn't even stay for Rampage because Tony Khan went out and started like raging on about something. We're like, let's just leave.
Isn't that wonderful? You pay money to go see a wrestling show, and you go, you know what? I have better things to do than watch subpar wrestling.
Well, after like 3 hours of it, it was enough. Like. I got to see Smart Mark Sterling wrestle. That was kind of cool.
I mean, he's great. Guy. He's great, but other than that, like you got time.
They did to like top off the night, and I never saw it on social media, which disappointed me. But the Tron, they misspelled Serpentico and wrote like Sepentico on it.
Oh Jesus!
And I tried to get a picture of it, and they took it down like real quick. So someone must have noticed it, but that just screams AEW.
Bertsky says the early AEW shows were so fun in Boston at Aganis, but after that, no, thank you. I was there on the second episode of Dynamite. There's a video on the Jobber Knocker YouTube where JC and I are sitting there, and JC gets really upset that Hangman has pyro. This is before Hangman blew up and shit. That was also the same night. It was like I think it was like on AEW Dark. It was like Joey Janela versus Kenny Omega in a lights out match.
Yeah,
and I was sitting there thinking to myself like, that's on fucking YouTube. Like, get the fuck out of here with this shit.
Well, when we went in Boston in, I think it was like February, whenever it was, it was Okada's debut match. It was in a 6-man tag. I'm like, why would you debut Okada in a 6-man tag?
I mean, I feel like they fumble a bunch of shit, so it is what it is. What is this? Oh, he photoshopped me as LaForge. I don't know if you could see this with the glare. He photoshopped me as LaForge.
Oh my god.
So there you go. You it's funny, like you're almost like in the dark. Like
oh my god, I'm turning a light on.
We're almost done. We're almost done. I'm a light shamer. It is what it is. It is what it is. I'm a light shamer. But anyway, to get to the point, AEW, we have Sir Swerve Strickland and Osprey teaming up against the Gates of Agony. No, thank you. We have an Owen Hart qualifier as Ray Phoenix versus Jay White will happen. I mean, that's a good match, but I'm not interested in the Owen Hart tournament. I don't ever care about it. Do you care about it? I mean, I'm an Owen guy, but
I'm an Owen guy, but I just don't care about it. Like the first one was cool, but after that, no.
I mean, you get a title that you don't defend. You get a trophy that's fucking 7 feet tall. You can't teach that, and nobody cares. And then you get a fucking championship shot, which I feel like they're just throwing shit everywhere. I don't know. It just, I just, he's trying. There's so much goodwill with AEW, at least when they started, and I feel like the wheels have fallen off of this thing. Like it'll never go out of style because he'll just burn money into it. But it's painful to watch, and you want to see these people succeed, and they're just getting in their own way.
Yeah, no, I agree.
All right, moving on. What else we got here for fucking? We got a 6-woman tag as Saraya, Anna Jay, and Harley Cameron taking on Mina, Mariah, and Toni Storm. I mean, on paper, this is visually appealing.
Yes.
But that's, to me, where it stops. But maybe I'll be pleasantly surprised. I don't know.
Which is a shame, like we should be past the time when eye candy's wrestling and it should be about wrestling. Like,
well, with Paige, I don't think anything's worthy of wrestling anymore. It's just, she's just there to be Paige. And then it says MJF in Buffalo. Woohoo. Okay, great. And then we hear from Danny Garcia. And that's going to put butts in the seats, as they say. Let's see. We're going to get to fucking Forbidden Door. Let's do this shit. All right. We've got 9 matches right now. It says here on the Wikipedia, but I think there's 10 that the Joe Stopper added. So bear with me 1 second here as it's weird because you're like further away and I want to make sure I don't put my predictions under JC for you. Because that would be weird. Because I'll go into, I'm not even going to announce these fucking people because I will fuck them up big time. Let's start here with the Learning Tree tag team of all those people versus Samoa Joe, Hook, and Shibata. I'm curious your thoughts about the Learning Tree as well as who's going to win this match.
Well, the Learning Tree is going to win the match. Like that's what's going to happen. But I am not a fan of the Learning Tree. I think it's stupid. I think I am sick of Chris Jericho is in my top 5 all time, and I'm sick of watching him. So
wow,
that should say something.
I'm gonna go with Joe and friends here. I think it just seems like I feel like they got to do something with Hook. Otherwise, like, what the fuck are they doing? But
Hook's coming to NXT from everything that the internet says.
Oh so. Yeah, well, if you read the internet, you'd be like the stupidest person in the entire world. It is what it is. I will, I'll say this much for the backcrackers. And Paige did more than Huck Tui on the. All right. Oh, brother. All right. That Huck Tui is.
I love Huck Tua.
Huck Tua.
Yeah. Have you not watched the video?
Oh, I have. It's just the accent makes it worse in my opinion. Like. You know what I mean?
My wife is so sick of me showing her memes from that. She's like, okay, enough. Like, it's not funny anymore. And I was like,
it's definitely jumped the shark. It's left the dolphin, in my opinion. It was funny for like the first 10 days. And now I feel like once the merchandise has come out, I'm like, all right, I'm done. Like, it's done its thing. But it's pop culture now for sure. It's pop culture. Anyway, MJF taking on the fucking, I'm not even going to say his name because I'm going to fucking butcher it. MJF is I'm gonna put MJF in for both of us because I'd be shocked if you could pronounce this, let alone tell me MJF is gonna lose.
Isn't it Hisachikaro? Yeah.
Or whatever. Or it's nothing though, right?
My Spanish accent's doing great. Thank you.
Yeah, it is what it is. Do you feel like MJF is just kind of fucking treading water here?
I think JC hit it a couple weeks ago when he said, like, what is this? He's wrestling fucking Roosh. Like, what is going on? Like, he should be your top star and just, inject it in the top right away.
Yeah, it is what it is. We have a shout out here from the shout out to everyone in the chat and the Jobber Knocker. Keep up the great work on the channel. Appreciate it. From the South Bronx. Right back at you. Thanks for, jumping in here. Thanks, you. Appreciate it. We have a lot of fun on this program, and we want to have more fun with a lot of other wrestling fans. So thank you. Danielson taking on, I'm going to screw this up, so I'll just say Shengo. To me, I'm sure it's a fucking dream match to somebody. I'll put Danielson because it seems like the other guy can fucking take a loss in a promotion that he's not in. So
yeah, it's gonna be Danielson, but I think seeing a few of Shingo's matches and listening to Conway and Dom talk on their pod, he's definitely one of the top stars. So it should be a good match.
But again, like I feel like here's the thing that I get, right? Like I get that New Japan and CMLL and all this other stuff, like that's cool and whatever. But I feel like AEW is lowering their standards sometimes by helping other people, and they should be building themselves up before they start helping others, in my opinion, anyway. I don't know. I just feel like it doesn't help them in any way.
I mean, I watch CMLL and I watch New Japan, but like this pay-per-view doesn't do anything for me. Like, I don't know. I've never been interested in the Forbidden Door.
Right. Okay.
It is what it is, kind of thing.
This is interesting to me because I guess we have to. Well, we'll leave this blank because it says the Jeff Cobb Open Challenge for the IWGP Television Championship. I'm curious to see what happens here. I assume it's somebody that'll be earth shattering or something like that. But I'm going to leave it blank so we can talk about it later or put our predictions in later. Moving on, we've got a 6-pack ladder match for the TNT Championship. I'm personally just going to pick Jack Perry because I feel like everybody else in this match is just nowhere close to being a TNT champion. We've got Takeshita, Mark Briscoe, fucking Dante Martin, Leo Rush, and TBD. I feel like it's Jack Perry's fucking world and they're all living in it.
Yeah, it's Jack Perry, but Leo Rush threw me off. I was like, oh, I didn't even know he was in AEW still.
Apparently, they've got big plans for Leo Rush, but they said that before, and then something's happened, and he just leaves. So I don't know. I mean, I've always been a huge fan of Leo Rush, especially in the WWE. But even when he's done things on the independents in New Japan, I think he's been doing really great. He almost worked for Proving Ground, surprisingly enough. Yeah, that was funny. He was working a Limitless show. He reached out to my friend and said, "Hey, like I'm already in the area. I see you're running the next day. Can I be on the card?" And he was just like, I can't afford you. You know what I mean? Like your airfare is already taken care of, but like I still can't afford you. But that would have been fucking cool to have a surprise like that. So maybe in the cards later down the line, but that would have been fucking dope.
That would have been amazing.
Yeah. So, but I feel like you want to promote that. You don't want to have that be a fucking surprise, but
yeah,
whatever. Moving on, we got Jon Moxley taking on Naito for the IWGP World Championship. I'll say this much. I feel like Jon Moxley gets a bad rap with the fucking bleeding and shit. He definitely has a lot of passion for wrestling, but I feel like he's become kind of a garbage wrestler.
Understand. Like, did you see his match on Bloodsport over the weekend?
It was
disgusting.
Like, how is that even? At what point? Maybe you'll understand this because you probably have a vast array of knowledge as well as you like different genres of wrestling. I've never really been into like the super hardcore shit. Like I understand its purpose and why you do it. But if I was going to be in a light tube match or fucking jumping off in a barbed wire, you best believe I'm getting fucking like triple my fucking worth if I'm doing this shit. These guys feel like they're just going out for fucking popcorn and a fucking hot dog and a handshake to do this shit.
Yeah, it was. I saw the clips on YouTube or on Twitter, and I was like, no, not for me.
So I don't know. I'm picking Moxley because I feel like they're riding the Moxley wave because they lost all their stars in New Japan.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's gonna be Moxley.
Moxley has to be the fucking guy, so it is what it is. Let's move on. We've got Toni Storm versus Mina. I'm gonna fuck up her last name, but Mina's been proving a lot to me. I think that I'm gonna pick Toni. Because I feel like the whole thing is that Mariah May is winning the Owen and then eventually beating fucking Toni and turning on her. So
yeah, I got Toni. I picked Toni Storm too.
Although I will say this much, and I'm curious what you think about this. Do you think that Timeless Toni Storm would be a better gimmick in WWE?
Oh, definitely. I mean, it fits in WWE 100%. Like, it sticks out as like a sore thumb on AEW as a character because there's no characters in AEW.
Fair enough. Let's move on because there's so many fucking things we got to get through here. Zack Sabre Jr. versus Orange Cassidy. Now, in theory, I'm sure this is going to be a great match, but do you care?
No, because they just threw the match together. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, that's the whole thing with the Forbidden Door pay-per-view. Like, they just throw up against a wall and say, this sounds like a good match, so this will be a good match.
Do you think it's Orange Cassidy or Zack Sabre Jr.?
I feel like the AEW stars always win. Like that's where, like again, this pay-per-view kind of throws me off. But I don't know. I'm gonna go with Orange Cassidy.
I too will take Orange Cassidy only because I feel like Tony Khan has a big wooden chubby for Mr. OC, and I feel like he doesn't lose very much. And Zack Sabre Jr., although a fantastic technical wrestler, doesn't to me like scream like big victory here. If it was for a championship, then yeah, I'd probably say yes, but it's not for a championship, so we're fine, right?
Yeah.
All right. Moving on, everybody's favorite, Mercedes Moné defending the TBS championship, and I'm sorry, the NJW, New Japan Pro Wrestling Strong Championship against Stephanie Vagger. I don't know. What is it?
I don't even know. I am surprised you even tried to pronounce it because you keep saying you're not going to try.
I'm terrible. Winner takes all match. Clearly, Mercedes Moné wins the whole fucking kit and caboodle because she's fucking Mercedes. No one's going to fucking beat her, especially for fucking both those titles. So that's a fucking waste of time, in my opinion. I'm sure it'll be a good match.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. Mercedes Moné was my pick as well.
It's hard because I have a love-hate relationship for Mercedes. Like she's from Boston. I fucking, like I love what she does in the ring, but then sometimes I'm looking at it like I feel like she gets paid a lot of money and she doesn't, in my opinion, deliver every time. That's just me. But again, still fucking a star. She's a star nonetheless. And the very tippity top, hopefully here, which is weird to me that this is the main event of Forbidden Door because it's not a Forbidden Door thing. Swerve Strickland against Will Ospreay for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship here. Oh man, we're headed into Wembley. I kind of feel like Big Willie is the fucking train, but do you derail Swerve at this point?
See, I thought this was going to be the main event of Wembley. I was very shocked when I saw it on the card for this.
Yeah. I'm gonna go out on a limb here and feel like Big Willie versus MJF is the fucking tippity top.
It makes sense.
So I feel like I'm going to pick Big Will. I know it's probably a bad idea, but whatever.
No, and it was funny because I was on the fence about this when we were talking earlier, and I was like, I don't know, like, because like you said, Will Ospreay makes more sense being in Wembley than Swerve, unfortunately. But I think it's gonna be Will Ospreay coming off with the victory.
Wow, that's amazing that we both agreed. This is pretty interesting. Okay,
well, great minds think alike, Nestle. Like we might be enemies sometimes, but
Well, I'm just saying for you it's ballsy of you to say things like that we're friends on this program or that we think alike, because a lot of people in the chat shit all over me. I'm just saying,
it's okay.
I just want you to have some street cred. That's all. I mean, you can shit all over me, it is what it is. I think that's pretty much everything. I think we've exhausted all of our options because that seems like a fucking train wreck of a pay-per-view. I will not be watching it. I will either be streaming it somehow that is not 100%, or I'll probably just be watching the clips. I'll be honest. I'll be watching all the clips.
You can just watch on Twitter and 20 minutes after it happens, they post a clip of it. Like,
yeah, that's fair.
They give away their pay-per-view.
Yeah, I don't know. There's no resale value anyway, and any type of pay-per-view they have. Anything else you want to get the fuck out of here?
Let's get the fuck out of here.
All right. Well, thank you for, subbing in for JC as he's clearly liquored up and loosey-goosey in fucking Las Vegas. So I appreciate you coming on. Clearly you got some heat with the Joe Stopper. You should probably work that shit out.
Yeah, I've tried. It just doesn't work out.
It's because you're, NXT, he's AEW. It's like, fucking tribalism, as he said. So thank you, TJ, for being here. I'll be back next week. I think JC will be back next week. At least that's what it says on my schedule. And we'll be back with some more jobber knockery.